Hey, welcome to another edition of Ego on Break. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Ric Flair and wherever else the conversation goes. With Flair being in the hospital, not doing so good, we're kind of going to take that walk down memory lane. So sit back and enjoy. And so, Madman, what's your earliest memory of Ric Flair, or just favorite memory, or whatever? Like, when you think of Ric Flair, what do you think of? Promos. Same thing for me too. I watched like a playlist I found on Facebook this morning of nothing but kind of just Ric Flair promos, and I was like, the one thing they always have in common is he name dropped a ton of people.
Yep.
He answered challenges from a ton of people. Like, he wasn't just cutting a promo on Dusty Rhodes. He'd throw in Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, Dick Slater. Like, he was just guy after guy after guy, all in the same promo. Always mentioned his women, and always mentioned how much his clothes cost.
Damn Armani.
So that, and probably Ric Flair dropping elbows on his jacket. That's probably my favorite Ric Flair thing.
Getting naked in the ring.
Yeah.
Almost,
So, as far as what's the, like? Is there a specific thing you remember, like, as far as a specific promo or a specific match or anything like that kind of stands out to you?
Mainly is the way he always would get with Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
Because he would always be like, Mean, woo, bad guy Gene. And then he'd go from there, and you didn't know what the hell he was talking about after that.
Yeah.
So.
I think I don't know if it's the earliest memory, but one of the memories I remember, that it's probably going to be, people are going to be like, why do you remember that? But he wrestled Mike Jackson one time.
Mike Jackson.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. And the reason I remember this is because
the name actually sounds familiar. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mike Jackson did like a ministry, like in his later years, and he put out some tapes or whatever. And I'd ended up with one of those tapes.
That's right, I remember now.
And it had the Ric Flair Mike Jackson match on it. But when you look at Mike Jackson, you're like, yeah, this guy's not going to win the title.
Clearly.
Right. But Flair was one of those guys where, for a little bit there, maybe he may steal this,
what was the guy that did the wrestling without the ring?
Yeah, George South.
Like, they had matches that were freaking great, and you literally thought George might have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So, and a lot of people say, well, Flair does the same things in every match. Well, so does everybody else.
Yeah, but they said, like, he would go to the back and, like, the promoter jumped Rick fast for making South look so damn good. He's like, how the hell are you making this jobber look good? He goes, well, hell, if I'm out there beating some damn nobody, who the hell gives a damn?
That's right. If they don't believe that he may win, then it's pointless.
I've never wanted to watch I know you watch Kung Fu movies, right?
I mean, I've seen a few.
Well, the first few guys he fights, there's usually one kick, right?
Yeah.
You ever want to see a wrestling match like that? Okay. Thank you.
Well, I've seen some wrestling matches like that.
That's why I hate Goldberg matches. Don't nobody want to see that as the main event.
Matter of fact,
if I got to the main guy in a fucking bad guy movie, and there's one blow to the movie,
it's not the ultimate fight scene.
Is it going to make money, or is it going to flop?
Well, I watched one of the promos he was having with Magnum TA, and he had came out and cut his promo, and I guess the producer was wrapping him up, and he was like, "You quit that, honey. Don't nobody wrap up Ric Flair. I'll get out of here when I want to, or whatever." And he's like, "Magnum TA is the United States champion. I'm going to stick around and watch him, or whatever." And Magnum literally, it was like, ding, ding, ding. The guy charges, Magnum ducks, belly to back suplex, 1, 2, 3, and that was it, And I was like, well, that wasn't much to watch. But then he came and got in Flair's face, and Flair was like, "Hey kid, you look pretty good out there. I'll get you out of these blue jeans and cowboy boots and get you into some real clothes and get your chest shaven and that kind of thing." And Magnum kind of like grabbed him by the tie or whatever. That don't nobody put their hands on Ric Flair's clothes, not because you put your hands on me, but you put them on my clothes. So he started getting undressed, and Magnum got to the ring, and Flair's like, you know what, forget about it. So Magnum comes after him. So Ric Flair backs up, keeps taking his clothes off, slides in the ring. Magnum slides in after him, bam, right to the ribs. I'm like, dirtiest player in the game right there, baby. So, got a lot of Ric Flair memories, man. But that was just that little short thing that stuck out to me was, and he told Magnum TA that he had been with more women in the last 5 months than Magnum's ever known in 5 years. So I was like, that's great. Well, the bad thing is all that stuff's true. So
nowadays you need a body condom to do that stuff.
So, but it was just like Ric Flair was always that guy, man. Then the Four Horsemen, I mean, that stuff was really cool. One of the promos I watched, it was even Buddy Landale was in the ring with J.J. Dillon, which I don't know if
they had a little feud.
I don't know if it was before Dillon was with or after, you know.
I'm trying to remember what it was, but they did have one.
But he told Buddy Landale, he's like, Landale, if you want to try to be me, you got to stop shopping at Kmart. And I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
So,
because it was like it was the Battle of the Nature Boys.
Yeah.
I seen 2 of the matches. They weren't bad.
Well, Landale was a good worker, you know.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yep. So,
not the version we saw, but
well, he was one of those guys where, you know, after hours activities, you know, meant more than, you know. Yeah. Yeah, you got a cold or something over there?
No, but he did evidently.
So,
this is no white powder cleared your cold.
It's called BC.
Yeah, my bad.
So, see, the magic with BC.
I always took mine down my face.
That's where people mess up.
My bad.
That's where they mess it up. If you get that in your system in other ways, it'll kick in a lot faster. Yeah, you just gotta be brave enough to do that.
No, I'm good like my sinuses.
It's dude over here. But man, Flair was just great, you know. And I know you did some research on his title wins, right?
Yeah.
So set the record straight. 16-time world champion.
Supposedly 19.
19. Why is there supposedly?
Because WWE doesn't consider certain ones eligible for title reigns.
So you're saying if WWE doesn't consider it, it don't happen? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hell, I guess. I'll read it to you. Give me just a second to get to the bottom here.
So while he's finding that,
it says there are at least, let's see, here it is. WWE does not recognize his 8th NWA World Title reign, nor do they recognize his 1st or 3rd WCW World Title reign. This is where they get their records for 16.
What does it say? Why they don't?
No.
Does it say what those matches were?
They're up here somewhere. This thing's long, dude. Like whoever did the research,
they put the work in.
So
that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's multiple ones, but I mean, it ain't gonna tell you why WWE didn't think.
No, but could you give us a list of like who he fought and? I mean, you got there just kind of.
I mean, it's
a quick summary, just like
I'll give you the first few.
He beat this guy, he beat that guy.
Well, it's kind of like that, but because here, let me read it to you. It says, here's how it goes. It says every NWA World Heavyweight Championship reign on September 17th, 1981, defeated Dusty Rhodes at a house show in Kansas City, Michigan, to win the NWA World Heavyweight title. Held it for 631 days officially until June 10th. But see, then you got unrecognized title changes.
All right, well, who was that?
Various people.
Jack Vino,
Carlos Colon. But the reasons they were stripped of the belt was like Jack Vino was stripped of the belt later that day after refusing to defend it outside of his own land, like he wouldn't leave the country.
Yeah.
Carlos Colon's not recognized by the NWA World Flair. They really give you a reason why.
But it was not because it wasn't a recognized title match, is what it was.
And then, I mean, there's various other people. Victor Javis beat Ric Flair for the title February 8th, 1983. The decision was reversed 3 days later since his feet were on the ropes.
Gotcha.
So back in the day, I guess that's how they're like, well, we made that crowd happy, so now let's make our pocketbook happy and put it back on Ric Flair.
Yeah. I know I'd heard or read, I didn't hear, but I've read and where it was said like, you know, he may be in a country and it's one of those where, hey, I'm not losing tonight. You know, I don't want to get out. I want to get out here alive.
More or less.
I'll win it back from you tomorrow. So, so that could be some of those, you know.
I mean, it's kind of weird stuff because there's a lot of unrecognized title changes.
Right.
But, like, I mean, this guy putting in his work, it's out there.
Where'd you find that at?
I basically typed in people that Ric Flair beat for the title, and it come up as one of two. This one was a more detailed one.
I got
you.
you.
It's long.
Yeah. So just Google that, kids.
Yeah.
Who did Ric Flair beat for the title? And you'll get a list.
Let me ask you this, and it's just a little trivia for you. I think you'll know it, and a lot of people probably won't. I know both of them, but he only held the WWF title how many times?
2.
Okay, who did he beat?
Uh,
I knew both of them. Honestly,
Macho Man?
Yeah.
And then he won the Rumble.
Okay.
Yep.
So, who beat him for the title?
Hold on, give me a second. I got
There's 2 of them because he had 2 reigns. So who beat him? You just named one of them.
See it? Did Macho beat him?
Macho beat him because you don't remember the promo. You damn right I pulled the tights because he pulled the tights.
I remember, like, what I remember about their feud was he was.
But his other title match was so bad.
Was it Bret Hart?
That's
It was
right.
Bret Hart.
They never put it on TV.
Yeah, that's
like
what it was.
just come out on DVD
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because Flair was like, it sucks. He's like, it's a terrible match.
But no, all I remember about the Macho stuff was how he was threatening to show pictures of Elizabeth or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
remember most about that.
Yeah.
So just goes back to me being a character, gimmicky kind of guy.
And I saw the match. It wasn't exactly a bad match. It just wasn't
What it should have been with Ric Flair and
It's
Bret
kind of like
Hart.
when Austin and when Austin won the belt from Shawn. It was
Yeah.
an okay match, but it wasn't nothing right on about.
Right.
It was just as bad. It was a history-making moment, but it literally hadn't been out there but a couple of years now.
Like with Flair, like, you know, he's done so much that, you know, you don't even think about. He's added so much to pro wrestling in general, but I think probably the main thing he's done was the Four Horsemen group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that, and then he helped form Evolution.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that was just a version of Four Horsemen.
Or,
You know?
I've